about influencers. These are influencers, and they're friends of mine. Jack Posobiec, where's Jack? Jack, who's done a great job.
Jack Posobiec, we're back live, Human Events Daily, Real America's Voice. We're on with Sav Hernandez, Frontlines, TPUSA. Folks, it's going to get better, all right? They turn up the heat on this, but Sav, you saw the polls that just came out yesterday. 78% of Americans support deporting the criminal illegal aliens, and 56%, a straight majority, support getting rid of all illegal aliens. This is the key issue that President Trump was pulling up. So when you're seeing these tiny groups, this is made for TV. These are tiny little slivers of what's going on, but they're trying, and of course, because they have the backing of the government there, they're absolutely in league with them. They are the local arm of it. Plus, you've got this, and Sav, I don't know if you saw the story, but the Latin Kings up in Chicago, one of them just got indicted for putting a hit out on a Border Patrol agent. So a guy who was operating in Chicago, by the way. And the Latin Kings, of course, are the local retail arm of the Sinaloa Cartel. So you've now got cartel-affiliated gangs putting out hits on Border Patrol officers. What other word for this would there be other than an invasion and an insurrection? I really don't. I fail to see what the issue is from a legal perspective and from a political perspective. It's all there. It's all there. I would say just do it. Just go ahead and invoke it. Call up the National Guard immediately. It's out of control.
Oh, absolutely, Jack. And again, regarding the mass deportations, absolutely. This was the number one issue for so many Americans because we watched our country get completely invaded and destroyed, quite frankly. You know, you just mentioned Chicago. Trene de Aragua was actually, they essentially created and established themselves in the United States in Chicago. I want to say it was back in 2022 or 2023 because of our open borders. And then you had Trene de Aragua members who made their way up to New York who were then saying, oh, yeah, sorry, we've been shooting the cops up here. It's just a part of our culture. We do it over in Venezuela. We didn't know we weren't supposed to do it here in the United States. So we've had that aspect of lawlessness in the country, right? American women and children that have been killed by illegal immigrants for the last couple of years, for a long time, actually. We need to clean this country up immediately. And then you also have this added aspect of Antifa, again, this domestic terrorist group who has been silencing, threatening, and intimidating any American who wants to push back against this and state that, hey, this is wrong, because let's not forget that the crime rate for illegal immigrants is 100%. The first act that they committed upon coming into the United States of America was to break our laws, to break into our country. They don't respect us. They made that clear time and time again with how they've treated Americans and treated our country. And yeah, Jack, the American people are tired. I mean, just to give you my own little story here, I was at Walmart the other day. I walked up to 3 separate people. Not one of them spoke English. It took me finding the 4th person to find somebody who could actually help me. And it's just this type of everyday activity as well that Americans are so tired of. They're tired of seeing our culture watered down, not being able to communicate with people in our own language, in our own country. And then, like I said, we're not even touching on the crime aspect of this. And then the liberals and the progressive faction of the United States of America that come in and just build upon that. So, you know, the National Guard absolutely needs to be deployed. You were talking about Washington, D.C. earlier, and that is the best example of what it looks like when you enact basic law and order. I mean, DC was the test case, if you will. This needs to happen across every major city in the United States of America because, again, Democrat leaders are completely lawless. They don't care about protecting the American people. I quite frankly think that they've shirked their duties. And if you're not serving the American people, then who are you serving? Yourself, foreign entities? I don't know, but not the American people if you're not enacting basic law and order.
It's very simple. The American people want it. And yes, the media is going to complain. The media is going to cry. The media is going to lie. They're going to smear. But at the end of the day, Donald Trump won the national popular vote by campaigning specifically on these policies of deporting the massive amounts of foreigners who should not be in our country. This is something, Sav, and I was having a conversation with somebody who's, shall we say, not from our side of the aisle yesterday. And I said, look, people have real grievances in this country about healthcare, about the economy, about wages, about housing. These are real legitimate grievances. But the answer isn't to turn to Zohran Mamdani. The answer is to find a way to actually help people to see who are just looking for some kind of relief. And I hear it all the time. And I say, you know what? It's a great way to help all those systems? Getting rid of the 30 million people plus who shouldn't be here.
Oh, absolutely, Jack. And I think that the media has done a fabulous job of manipulating and warping all of these issues, like you said, from the housing market to the economy. And Americans don't understand why the economy is so bad, why the housing market is so bad, why we're dealing with such high crime rates, because the media has refused to report on it. And it has been independent media like yourself, like myself, who have been on the ground, who have been highlighting these issues. I mean, I think back during Joe Biden's administration. And it was just absolutely insane to me because we had, members of the DHS at that time who were saying, the border's closed. The border's not wide open. There's not really people coming in here. Ignore everything that's happening. And so, again, it's been decades at this point of manipulation of the American people. And now we don't even understand how we got to this point as a country and why things are as bad as they are. So, again, thank God for independent media who are able to talk about these issues, because CNN and MSNBC, like you said, instead of focusing in on how we got here as a country, instead of focusing in on what's really going on, they're too busy demonizing the administration, and by extension, every single American who has put that administration into office as, again, our last plea for help to get things fixed, because it is unbearable at this point. I mean, the fact that we're even having to talk about the National Guard being deployed because local police and state police refuse to do their jobs in places like Oregon just goes to show how out of control this country has become.
Absolutely. Sav, thank you for your intrepid work. And by the way, for the love of God, if you're going to go out there, please make sure that you've got full security, that you've got everything else that you need, because there's so many of us that, we love you, we love your work, we care about you very much, and we want you to come home safe.
Thank you, Jack. I promise I will.
All right. Folks, Savannah Hernandez, Savannah with one N, my favorite tomorrow. Make sure that you go and give her a follow. We'll be right back. Breaking news from New Jersey. Stay tuned.